Your dog shouldn't exist. Seriously, look at them right now. Before 1837, that animal on your couch was just a cheap farm tool, not a best friend. You think you chose your pet? Wrong! A dead queen chose it for you 100 years ago. Queen Victoria started a biological explosion that turned working animals into the family members we obsess over today. Stop being ignorant about the animal living in your house. Here is the dark, weird history of why your dog is actually a Victorian invention. Queen Victoria's personal passion for dogs. You probably think your obsession with your dog is unique. You think those puppy dog eyes are just a cute quirk of nature. Think again. You are actually participating in a massive historical experiment that started over 100 years ago. Let's be honest for a second. Before the 19th century, dogs were mostly tools. They hunted, they herded, or they guarded. But then came Queen Victoria. She didn't just own dogs, she fundamentally changed how the world viewed them. She possessed a deep, personal love for these animals that was practically unheard of for a monarch at the time. Now, here is the unsettling part. If you don't know this history, you don't actually know your own pet. You are just blindly following a trend set by a dead queen. Historians and experts on the Victorian era confirm that her influence was the catalyst for what we now call the Victorian explosion of dog breeds. It wasn't just a hobby, it was a cultural shift. She brought dogs out of the kennel and into the parlor. Imagine the power required to take a muddy working animal and put it on a silk pillow. That is influence. But here's the thing they don't tell you about royal influence. It trickles down until you think it was your idea all along. The Queen's passion wasn't random. It was specific and it was intense. She surrounded herself with breeds that would eventually become the household names we know today. But what happens next will surprise you. Because her choice of favorite dogs wasn't just about cuteness, it was about shaping an entire industry. Dash, the Queen's beloved spaniel. Speaking of favorites, let's talk about Dash. If you own a King Charles Spaniel, or really any small spaniel, you owe a debt to this specific dog. Dash was Queen Victoria's childhood companion, a King Charles Spaniel that she absolutely adored. It sounds sweet, doesn't it? A lonely princess and her dog? But let's look closer. If you don't treat your dog like royalty, are you even doing it right? Or are you just failing them? Dash wasn't just a pet, he was a celebrity of his time. Because the Queen loved him, the King Charles Spaniel became a symbol of status and refinement. It is a classic example of social proof. If the Queen has one, you need one too. It's no different than buying the same sneakers as your favorite athlete today. You think you have free will? History suggests otherwise. We see this in the archives. Paintings and sketches of Dash solidified the Spaniel's place in history. He represents the beginning of the lapdog era for the modern age. But here is the part they didn't tell you. Dash was just the beginning. The Queen's taste was evolving, and her next favorite would bring a completely different vibe to the palace. Waldman, the royal Dachshund favorite. So we move from the fluffy spaniel to something a bit more distinct. Enter Waldman. Yes, the Queen of England was obsessed with a Dachshund. I know what you are thinking. A wiener dog? In the palace? But Waldman was a favorite. This highlights the German influence in her life, likely through her husband Prince Albert. But it also popularized the breed in Britain. Here is a hard truth for you. If you think Dachshunds are just funny-looking internet memes, you are disrespecting a royal legacy. You are laughing at a creature that outranks you socially. Waldman proves that the Queen didn't just stick to one type. She appreciated the variety of the canine world. Her ownership of Waldman helped legitimize the Dachshund breed outside of Germany. It shows a willingness to embrace the new and the foreign, something that defined the Victorian era's expansionist mindset. But wait, it gets more interesting. While Waldman was scampering around on those short legs, another dog was about to enter the picture, one that embodied loyalty in a way that would set the standard for generations. Sharp, the Queen's devoted collie. Now we get to the heavy hitter, Sharp. Sharp was a collie, and he was one of the Queen's absolute favorites. When you think of a loyal dog, you think of a Collie, right? Like Lassie? Well, Sharp is the grandfather of that image. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Does your dog look at you the way Sharp looked at Queen Victoria? Or is your dog just using you for food? It's worth thinking about. Sharp represents the bond between monarch and protector. Collies were working dogs, herders from Scotland, but Victoria elevated them to royal companions. This transition is crucial. It signaled that a working dog could also be a refined, loyal friend. Reliable sources from the era document her deep affection for Sharp, noting how he was constantly by her side. This endorsement did wonders for the Collie breed. Suddenly, everyone wanted that kind of intelligent devotion in their own lives. But what happened next? Well, this is where things go from a personal hobby to a global explosion. The Victorian explosion of dog ownership. We call it the Victorian Explosion for a reason. This wasn't a slow burn, it was a boom. The Queen's love for Dash, Waldman, and Sharp didn't stay behind palace gates. It spread to the streets, the country houses, and the city apartments. Look around you, everyone has a dog. You are just a copy of a Victorian trend. It's almost embarrassing how predictable we are as a species. This era saw the rapid expansion of dog ownership among the middle class. Because the Queen did it, it became acceptable, even fashionable, to keep dogs purely for companionship. Statistics from the 19th century show a massive spike in the number of distinct dog breeds being identified and kept. It was a status symbol. If you could afford to feed a mouth that didn't provide labor, you were successful. It was the ultimate flex. But here is the twist. As more people bought dogs to mimic the Queen, they started changing the dogs themselves, turning working animals into family. This is the pivotal moment. This is where the shift happens. We moved from "that dog guards the sheep" to "that dog is my baby." The Victorian explosion was about context. If you still treat your dog like an animal instead of a family member, society judges you now. And honestly, they should. You are living in the past. Queen Victoria showed the world that it was okay to emotionally invest in these animals. She grieved for them when they died. She commissioned art of them. This humanization of the dog is a direct result of her influence. We see this in the way we treat our pets today. We buy them sweaters, we celebrate their birthdays. That behavior has its roots right here, in the 19th century. It is a complete psychological reformatting of the human-animal relationship. But what they didn't tell you is that this love led to us playing God with genetics. The birth of modern dog breeds. This is the part that changed biology. The Victorian explosion is the literal birth of modern dog breeds. Before this, a terrier was just a small dog that dug holes. After this, a terrier had to look a specific way, have a specific coat, and act a specific way. Excuse me, I'm allergic to bad breeding. And let's be real, your purebred dog is a Victorian invention. Nature didn't make that. We did. And we did it because we wanted to. Collect them like stamps. The obsession with specific dogs like Dash, the Spaniel, and Waldman, the Dachshund, led to the codification of breeds. People wanted a dog that looked exactly like the Queen's dog. This demand created the world of dog shows, kennel clubs, and breed standards. We started designing dogs to fit the aesthetic preferences of the era. It was the Industrial Revolution applied to biology. Mass production of specific models of dogs. It is fascinating, and slightly terrifying when you stop to think about it. But the legacy is undeniable. How a queen defined dog history. So here we are. You look at your dog and you see a best friend, but you are looking at history. You are looking at the legacy of Queen Victoria. Without her, you'd probably be lonely. You'd come home to an empty house. Admit it, she saved you from a boring life. The Victorian explosion wasn't just about dogs. It was about how we define family. By loving Dash, Waldman, and Sharp, Queen Victoria gave us permission to love our pets with that same intensity. She legitimized the dog as a central part of the modern home. So next time you walk your dog, remember, you are walking a living, breathing artifact of the Victorian era. The Queen is long gone, but her dogs, they are everywhere. And that is a legacy more powerful than any empire. So thank the Queen that your house isn't empty and lonely. Don't be the owner who knows absolutely nothing about their own pet. We are revealing the secret history of every single breed right here on Dr.DogPedia. Hit subscribe right now. Your dog deserves a smarter owner.